You know that feeling when a crush starts to feel like something more? It's this quiet, subtle shift that, honestly, most of us totally miss. So let's talk about how you can actually spot it when it's happening.
See, a crush doesn't just flip a switch and turn into love overnight. It's not some big, dramatic moment. It's a quiet, gradual change, kind of like the seasons shifting. And because it's so subtle, a lot of people don't even realize it's happening. We've all been there with a crush, right? It's intense. Your heart pounds, you feel that crazy excitement. But love, well, love feels different. It's calmer, it's deeper. And that transition between the two, that's where it gets confusing. I just love this way of putting it. Love doesn't show up with a big fireworks display. It shows up with these little signals. So, the question is, what are those signals? Let's break down 6 key signs that what you're feeling might be turning from a crush into the real beginnings of love.
Okay, so this first pair of signs is all about a really interesting shift, the move away from feeling like you have to perform and towards a genuine sense of peace. Let's dive into what that actually feels like.
The very first sign is that you just stop performing. You know how it is with a new crush, you're always on. You're picking your words so carefully, only showing your best angles. But when it starts to become love, that pressure just kind of melts away. You can talk freely, you can actually be comfortable in silence, and you can just be yourself.
And really, it all boils down to this powerful idea. Love starts the moment you stop feeling like you're being watched.
And that leads right into our second sign. Their presence actually starts to calm you down. A crush gives you those butterflies, that heart-racing, jittery energy. Love, though, brings this sense of stability. Yeah, the excitement is still there, but underneath it all, there's a calm that actually lowers your stress instead of cranking it up.
And here's what's so fascinating. This is often something your body picks up on before your brain even catches on. It's this physical sense of safety.
So, building on that feeling of peace, our next 2 signs are about how simple attraction starts to deepen into real, genuine attachment.
Okay, sign number 3 is all about where your attention goes. With a crush, a lot of the focus is on, the attraction. But with love, you start to get really curious about their inner world, like how they think, what's hurt them in the past, what drives their choices. And it's not about wanting to fix them, it's just about wanting to understand them.
You could really say it this way. Love is basically interest that just doesn't get bored.
Now, sign 4 is about a huge shift in how you daydream. A crush lives in these dramatic fantasy moments. But love? Love starts to think about actual time. You start picturing the normal, ordinary stuff. Lazy weekend mornings, getting through a tough day together. Just simple, shared routines. You're not imagining a movie, you're imagining a life.
And that really changes the core question you're asking yourself. It stops being, ooh, what could this be? And it quietly becomes, could this actually last?
All right, our final section gets into what might be the biggest shift of all, the journey you take from fear to freedom inside the relationship. Let's look at our last 2 signs.
So sign 5 is a big one. Conflict doesn't feel like the end of the world anymore. When you have a crush, any little disagreement can feel terrifying, like it can make you lose them. But in love, you start to feel like the connection is strong enough to handle some honesty. You actually trust that you can argue and then repair things afterward.
And that's such a crucial way to think about it. Love isn't about having zero friction. It's about having the confidence that you two can work through that friction together.
And that bedrock of safety leads us right to our final sign. You feel free to get bigger, not smaller. A crush can sometimes make you shrink yourself to seem more desirable. But love does the exact opposite. It makes you feel encouraged to change, to evolve, to become even more of who you really are.
I mean, what a beautiful thought. True love doesn't want you to stay frozen in time. It grows right along with you.
So after looking at all 6 of these signs, what's the big picture? What do they all point to? Well, they reveal this quiet but profound truth about what love actually feels like. And maybe the most important thing to remember is this. Love doesn't show up with a marching band. It's a slow, quiet revelation.
It reveals itself through that feeling of safety we talked about, through that calm steadiness when you're with them, and maybe most of all, through the amazing feeling that you don't have to hide or erase parts of yourself to be wanted.
So, when you start to notice that shift, that quiet deepening happening, you can trust it. You're not just guessing anymore. It's real.
In the end, it really comes down to the question at the center of it all. A crush is completely wrapped up in one question.
Do they like me?
But love asks something so much deeper, so much more important. It asks, can I be myself here? And that, right there, is the signal you've been looking for.